Tier 1, negative balance. There's a minus sign in front of the number on your screen. You stare at it, half expecting it to blink away. It doesn't. You overdrew by $4. Just $4. A coffee subscription you forgot was set to charge. The bank doesn't care that it was $4. The bank only cares about the math, and the math says you dipped below zero. The fee is $35. The penalty for being broke is becoming more broke. The punishment dwarfs the crime. You look at it and feel something that isn't quite anger, just exhaustion. Then another charge hits. A $7 subscription you meant to cancel. The system sees you're already negative and slaps on another $35. Now you owe $77 to a bank that turned a $4 slip into $35 of pure profit. You call. The hold music loops 3 times. A voice reads from a script. Fees can't be reversed at this time. You ask for a manager. You're told someone will call back within 48 hours. No one does. The next morning your rent payment bounces. Your landlord tax on a $75 late fee. Your phone bill fails too, another $25. What started as a $4 mistake is now $200 deep and spreading into places you never touched. You skip lunch Wednesday. Not by choice. You walk past your usual spot and just keep going, like you never meant to stop there. A coworker asks you to grab food after work. You say you already ate. You didn't. Hunger at this level isn't loud. It's quiet. The kind nobody clocks because you've gotten good at looking fed. Friday you walk into the branch. The teller glances at her screen and her expression shifts. Not anger, not pity, something colder. You watch yourself stop being a person to her and become a flag. A category. A risk score wearing shoes. You leave without saying what you came to say, because somewhere between the $4 and the ignored callback and the missed rent, you stopped being a customer and became a problem. Tier 2, $200. You're above water now. It took 20 hours of overtime to claw back to $200. A full week of staying positive. Nobody clapped. Nobody noticed. The bank notices, just not kindly. The maintenance fee still hits, $12, sometimes $15, pulled quietly. Keeping it away requires a $1,500 minimum you don't have, so the fee stays. You're paying the bank rent to hold money you can barely spare. You log in one day and watch it vanish overnight. No warning. No explanation. The system doesn't justify itself. It just acts. You apply for a credit card. They offer you a secured one. Hand over $300 of your own cash so they can loan it back to you at 24% interest. You reread the terms twice. They want your own money as collateral for the privilege of borrowing it back. You decline, which means when your tire blows on a Tuesday, there's no plastic to fall back on. You ride the bus 3 hours late to work. Your manager doesn't fire you. He just looks at you a beat longer than usual. You go to the branch about the fee. The teller is chatting with the customer ahead of you. All smiles, asking about their kids. When it's your turn, the warmth switches off, replaced by something trained and professional. The room's whole temperature drops, and you become a different kind of person without a word being exchanged. She handles your request in 40 seconds flat. No, anything else. No, have a nice day. The next customer steps up, and the smile returns like it never left. You walk out the door with a feeling you can't quite name. Nobody refused you. Nobody insulted you. You were just processed, like cargo on a conveyor belt. At $200, the bank doesn't dislike you. The bank doesn't see you at all. You exist in their ledger. You don't exist in their attention. Tier 3, $2,000. Something changes, not in your balance, in how the bank perceives you. Your paycheck lands every 2 weeks, $1,600 after taxes, steady and predictable. That 6-month pattern is the only thing about you the system finds interesting. The maintenance fee vanishes, not because you requested it, but because your direct deposit tripped a rule and got it waived automatically. The first time it happens, you check your statement 3 times to be sure. The same fee that bled you dry for years just stopped existing. Nothing about you changed except your behavior now matched a profile the bank can profit from. so they let you keep more of yours. Credit card offers start showing up in the mail, real ones this time, not secured. Actual cards, $2,000 limits, 22% APR. The same bank that rejected you 8 months earlier is now mailing pre-approved envelopes with your name in metallic foil, like you've been reborn as someone new. You apply. Approved in 90 seconds. It feels strange. The system that ignored you at $200 said yes at $2,000. You're the same person, only the number changed. You walk into a branch and the teller says, "Good morning," before you even reach the counter. Not the warmth reserved for wealthy clients, but not the cold silence from before either. Something in the middle. Recognition without real warmth. Service without real effort. The place where most people live. You apply for a small loan, $5,000 for car repairs. Approved in 48 hours at 11%. Not great, not terrible. For once, the process worked the way the commercials always claimed it would. You realize something nobody ever tells you outright. The bank doesn't care who you are. It cares what your balance looks like. And at $2,000, your balance looks like something worth selling to. You're no longer invisible. You're not respected either. You're profitable. Tier 4, $15,000. You open the app and notice your credit limit jumped. $4,000 became $9,500. You never asked. You never applied. The bank simply decided you deserved more rope. The next morning, a real person calls, not a robot. You've been assigned a relationship banker. He introduces himself twice, gives you a direct line, asks about your goals, your timeline, your savings. He wants to schedule a 15-minute check-in. The same institution that once left you on hold for 40 minutes at $200 is now calling you first thing Tuesday morning. Your next loan comes with a better rate. You buy a used car and the dealer runs your credit. What would have been 11% at $2,000 is 6.8% now. Money got cheaper for you, not because you bargained, but because you stopped registering as a risk. A $32 fee shows up. You email your banker. 3 hours later, it's gone. No form, no phone tree, no script, just a quiet reply saying it's handled. The same fees that drained you for years are now negotiable. The system hasn't changed. Your tier has. You start getting emails with your name spelled correctly. Subject lines with your first name. Small, personal touches. The bank is courting you now, not loudly, but the way someone treats a person they're afraid to lose. You realize something hidden from you at every tier below this one. The bank was never cruel to you when you were broke. It was indifferent. And indifference at scale looks exactly like cruelty. Tier 5, $80,000. The bank starts calling you a preferred client. The label shows up on your statements, on the login screen, in the email signature of whoever manages your account. You didn't earn the title. The number did. Your relationship banker becomes an actual person now, David, who remembers you have a sister in Chicago because you mentioned it once, 9 months back. He emails you on your birthday. Not automated, written. That detail isn't an accident, it's training. The bank teaches its people to remember small things because small things keep accounts. You walk into the branch and someone stands to greet you. Not the teller, someone with a nameplate and an office. They walk you past the rope line everyone else waits behind. The same line you once stood in at $200 without realizing you were standing in it. A pre-approval letter shows up for a $400,000 mortgage, not a credit card. The bank decided what you could afford before you'd even picked out a house. They want to lend you money before you ask for it. The price of money isn't something you negotiate anymore. It's something offered. A competing bank calls, offering to match and beat your rates. You mention it to David. He calls back within the hour with a counteroffer. The institution that ignored you for years is now competing to keep you. At $80,000, the bank doesn't just prefer you, it defends you. Tier 6, $500,000. The bank stops being a place you go to. It becomes a service that comes to you. David no longer emails, he calls. And when he calls, he isn't asking how you're doing. He's asking when you'd like to meet his colleague from wealth management. That colleague drives out to your office, not the other way around. He brings a leather folder full of printed reports. He asks about your goals, your timeline, your tax structure, your estate plans. 90 minutes later, he doesn't try to sell you a single thing. He just leaves his card and promises a follow-up. The selling already happened. You just didn't notice. You're no longer being offered products. You're being consulted. That distinction matters. A product is something the bank wants you to buy. A consultation is something the bank wants you to need, and being needed is worth more to them over time than a one-time sale. You call about a frozen wire transfer. Someone picks up on the second ring. No hold music, no script. The problem's solved in that one call. The same issue that would have taken 3 hours and 4 transfers at $2,000. You get invited to a private dinner. 8 clients, a guest speaker, a skyline view you've never seen from this angle. Nobody mentions money all night. Money is the table, not the topic. At $500,000, you're not a customer anymore. You're an asset worth protecting. Tier 7, $5 million. Private banking. It sounds like wealth management, but it's not. Wealth management is a service. Private banking is a relationship, and relationships don't just follow rules, they rewrite them. You no longer have a banker. You have a private banker, a title that carries real weight inside the institution. He manages fewer than 20 accounts, and yours is one. He knows your kids' names. He knows about the foundation you've been considering because you mentioned it over coffee last March. Your mortgage rate isn't published, it's negotiated. The minimum investment on a private deal is waived because the relationship justifies it. Paperwork that takes a regular customer 2 weeks gets handled in 48 hours because someone flagged whose account it belongs to. You walk into a branch you've never set foot in, and they already know your name before you've signed a thing. A different banker introduces himself. You've been flagged across every branch in the system, not because you're famous, but because of where you sit. You exist in a database that prioritizes you before you even ask. You sit in a conference room with no logo on the door. The table is a single slab of wood. The deal on the table is a private investment that will never appear on any prospectus. That room exists because clients like you exist. It only opens when the relationship warrants it. At $5 million, the bank doesn't just follow its own rules for you, it bends them. Tier 8, $25 million. You no longer have a banker. You have a relationship. And the gap between those two words is the gap between this tier and everything below it. Your account is a named line item in someone's performance review. Losing you would derail careers. The institution doesn't compete to keep you. It organizes itself around never losing you. 3 people inside the bank exist, in part, because your account exists. Neither of you knows that. But the math is real. The deals aren't a menu anymore. They're bespoke, sentences drafted for one client, you. Loan rates get negotiated over a single phone call. Investment terms are built around your timeline. You stop applying for things at $25 million. Things apply for you. Investments reach you before they're public. Deals get structured around your participation before you've even agreed to it. But access isn't the real shift. Influence is. The bank doesn't just serve you anymore. It consults you. The chief investment officer wants your read on emerging markets. The head of private banking flies out just to ask what your peer tier should expect next. You're shaping the very institution that once charged you $35 for the crime of being broke. At $25 million, the bank doesn't have a customer. It has a partner. And the partner has a name. Yours, somewhere, right now, someone else has a minus sign in front of their balance. They overdrew by $4. A coffee subscription they forgot to cancel. The fee lands within the hour, $35. They stare at the screen and feel something that isn't anger, just tired. They call. The hold music loops. A voice reads from a script. Fees can't be reversed at this time. They don't know yet that the system isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed. The same institution that will one day fly someone out to ask their opinion on emerging markets is, right now, charging that person for not having enough. You are the same person at every balance. The bank just decides who you are based on the number next to your name. The bank never changes at any tier. You do, in its eyes.